All right, hour two, Sean Hannity Show, 800-941-SEAN, our number. You want to be a part of the program. Anyway, here to help break down a lot of what we've been discussing. I mean, how is it possible, 2016, okay, yeah, Hillary Clinton, top secret classified information on her servers, but don't worry, no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute, no raids, nothing. Deleted subpoenaed emails, 33,000 of them. Device destroyed with hammers, nothing. A dirty Russian disinformation dossier. I thought they didn't like Russian collusion. Used as the basis for a FISA warrant, 4 of them. Ruins Carter Page's life, backdoors, all things Trump world. What happens to the people involved? Lying to FISA courts? Nothing. Then you go to 2020. They pre-bunked the very real Hunter Biden laptop that the FBI had. And not only did they validated it. We now believe as early as November 2019, but they validated it for sure in March of 2020. Then one has to ask, why was the FBI sending agents to big tech corporations and telling them they might be victims of misinformation campaigns, and it may be about Joe and it may be about Hunter Biden? How is it we have a 1023 form and no answers? They've had this since 2017. Specific allegations that Joe Biden took actions as vice president. We know he took the action in Ukraine to fire a prosecutor investigating his son so his son can continue to be paid a fortune for no experience. Why didn't anybody care about that quid pro quo? But anyway, we know that happened. Now we know from the Durham report that there was no basis at all for even opening Operation Crossfire Hurricane. And now we know from IRS whistleblowers that there was special treatment given to the Bidens, particularly dragging their feet as it relates to Hunter Biden and his taxes that he even admitted on his own laptop that he hadn't paid for years, not included in the sweetheart deal that he got because the statute of limitations apparently had passed, which was part of the design of all of this. And I'm only touching the surface here. And now we're discovering from James Comer and the House Government Reform Oversight Committee. What are we learning there? We're learning that they had, dozens of LLCs that were not real businesses. They're called shell corporations when they're not real businesses with real money invested by real people. The type of ones that I have. Real ones, real businesses. No. They were used to, just transfer money from one to the other, and then money ending up in the pockets of 9 different Bidens, including grandchildren. How much money did the Biden family do in business dealings with foreign countries like China, like Russia, like Ukraine, like Kazakhstan, like Romania, like Mexico? And the list goes on and on and on. How is it that you have a WhatsApp message of Hunter Biden, doing his best to imitate Vito Corleone? I'm sitting here with my father, and we'd like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director I'd like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And he warns this Chinese national Zhao that if he doesn't comply, I will make certain that the man that's sitting right next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I'm sitting right here waiting for the call with my father. Oh, within a week, they got $5.1 million wired to Hunter from the Chinese oil giant CEFC. That was in the Chuck Grassley, Ron Johnson report. How many other issues of malfeasance? How much other monies did they make? I mean, these guys were heroes. Real whistleblowers testifying, but all of a sudden the media doesn't care about whistleblowers. They only care about hearsay whistleblowers that hate Trump. They don't care about real whistleblowers. It's just so corrupt, and it's impacting our elections. Now we have the Department of Justice weaponized, the FBI weaponized, both politicized. If your name's Clinton, if your name's Biden, you get a pass. You get a slap on the wrist at best. Joe Biden continues to adhere to this lie through his spokesperson and himself earlier today that I never once spoke to Hunter about his foreign business dealings. Anyway, joining us now is Congressman Byron Donalds of Florida, has become a good friend of the program. Great guy. He points out they're investigating more Biden bank records. They're trying to connect all of the dots in terms of the money flow. I really, Congressman, would like an answer. How much money did the Biden family do in business with all of these countries? China, Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Romania, Mexico, and a dozen other countries. I'd like to know how many LLCs, how much money did they take in? How much money was profit? James Comer's estimating it is now at least $20 to $30 million, maybe a lot more. Do you know? Do we know yet?
Hey, Sean, great to be with you. I will first answer your question about how much money. I think Chairman Comer, what we know of now is about $20 to $30 million. But it keeps adding up because every new day with every new bit of information we come across, we find other money. We find some new account. And I think it's important for people to understand that this was all done on purpose to conceal the amount of money the Biden family was getting from all these different countries and all these different foreign companies and foreign operatives. Like Henry Zhao's an operative in the Chinese government. Being able to get all this stuff into the United States, they wanted to conceal it from the American people. They didn't want to pay taxes on this money. So, a question I got for Joe Biden now is did he pay his fair share? He seems to ask everybody else, but obviously he didn't pay his, and neither did Hunter Biden. And let's not leave out Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother in all this, because the only difference between him and Hunter Biden is that he wasn't doing crack and paying hookers. But other than that, he was involved in this family shakedown, which is public corruption in my view. And one real quick thing, Sean, the most insipid thing in all of this is that the big media is not reporting on it. It's not even that they're trying to squelch it or tamp down on it. They don't even report on it, which demonstrates to me that the friends of the Bidens and the friends of the Democrats in media, the word's out for them just to ignore this story and hope that it goes away.
I just really want to know, do you, when these whistleblowers to me, this to me was blockbuster testimony. The media ignored it as per usual. If it was Trump or any conservative, it would have been, cover to cover, on the front pages of newspapers. It would have led ABC, NBC, CBS. It would have been all over fake news and MSDNC. It just would be. And honestly, but for, a few of us on talk radio and a few of us on the Fox News channel, I mean, there's not many of us, Congressman, that are out there telling the truth. But I mean, this should be big news. This family was involved in business dealings. They had no business doing all this business with the communist Chinese. The idea that a Justice Department is protecting this family like they protected Hillary Clinton, no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute. What does that tell you about our system of justice? What does it tell you about our FBI and our DOJ?
It's a two-tier system of justice. And I truly believe that there is a cover-up in our midst at the political brass within the Department of Justice and the political brass of the FBI. Sean, what they're trying to indict Donald Trump on is because he was talking to somebody in his office saying, hey, look at this document. Oh, I could have classified it, but I can't classify it now. And that's essentially the basis of his indictment. Meanwhile, you got a WhatsApp text message of Hunter Biden shaking down Henry Zhao, talking about, I got a long memory. This guy's a mobster. That's a message you get out of Goodfellas. And it's a literal shakedown. And that entire investigation was squashed by the Department of Justice. There is a cover-up going on over here. And look, at this point, I don't want to hear about Richard Nixon anymore, because did he try to cover up the break-in at the Watergate Hotel? Yeah, he did. But it was a break-in at a hotel. It wasn't a shakedown in a public corruption bribery scheme, a pay-for-play scheme with foreign nationals giving money to the family of the president of the United States. And I will add giving money to the president. We just haven't found it yet. But you can't tell me everybody in the family is getting money, but Joe Biden's only getting paid $174,000 a year being a U.S. senator and a vice president of the United States.
And he has a nice beach house. My understanding of beachfront properties, that's pretty expensive.
Oh, yeah, it's expensive because I can't buy one. I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, the point is I wouldn't care if he earned the money, but if he's benefiting off his position. Now, we also know that Hunter has no experience in energy because he admitted it. So he's not only dealing with Burisma, and by the way, got Daddy to leverage $1 billion taxpayer dollars to fire the prosecutor investigating Burisma, and investigating Hunter, so he can continue to get paid. But what are they doing business with a Chinese company for? I thought they were one of our top geopolitical foes, if not the top geopolitical foe.
But it's also the reason why Joe Biden doesn't hesitate in turning our entire electric generation system over to the Chinese in the terms of solar panels and windmills. Like, why do you think he's so gung-ho on this? It's, Lunch Bucket Joe doesn't care about coal. Only thing he cares about is the shakedown money that got to the family from these foreign interests. And how do you repay that?
Oh, I have another question. Do you think that is there a chance our president has been compromised by China? Because I believe that's got to be looked into.
I totally believe that. And that's me speaking for myself, having gone through the suspicious activity reports at the Treasury Department, having read the FBI form, seeing what happened over at Burisma. I do think the president's compromised. And I think that this is the case because this entire family, there's no business here, like you just said. They've never been involved in any enterprise. The enterprise has always been Joe Biden's connections. And so does that mean that the president is compromised? Yes, I think so.
Well, there's nothing that Hunter has ever shown anybody that I think reflects any knowledge in energy or any financial business, but yet they had that deal with the Bank of China as well. Why would you deal with Hunter Biden and $1.5 billion deal with the Bank of China when in fact you could use, like a company like Goldman Sachs or Deutsche Bank or J.P. Morgan Chase or one of these companies. I think you'd want to go with the pros, wouldn't you, on a big deal like that?
Yeah, I would want to do that, especially considering that the Burisma executive said that Hunter Biden is a dummy and a stupid person. But the only reason why you dealt with him is because you needed to get access to Joe Biden. I mean, Sean, one of the things that's also really interesting is notice, I'm going to go a little bit back to this WhatsApp message, or even what went on with Burisma. The first indictment the first impeachment of Donald Trump was about a phone call with Vladimir Zelensky. And the Democrats were running around saying, oh, it's public corruption, public corruption. Joe Biden actually did use his office to get that prosecutor fired. He used his office to do it.
He used our money to leverage it.
That's right. And he got paid, according to the FBI's informant, who the FBI says is highly credible, he got paid $5 million, which they ran through a bunch of accounts, a bunch of shell accounts, which they also say in that form would take investigators 10 years to find. That's all the stuff that we've uncovered already in our investigation.
So we know for a fact what that 1023 form is referring to is him leveraging the $1 billion to get the prosecutor Victor Shokin fired?
Yes, that is what is alleged by the confidential human source in FBI document 1023.
Well, we know that happened because he bragged about it. And we know Hunter continued to get paid.
Hunter continued to get paid. Jim Biden continued to get paid. Hallie Biden and every other Biden, a couple of grandkids were getting a couple $100,000.
Oh, can you explain what the grandchildren did for that money?
They were Joe Biden's grandkids, as far as I'm concerned. This whole thing is a shakedown. And again, this is clear. I think you have a couple other things. It appears to me that Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, let's not forget Jim Biden. I know he's not, the sexy topic here, but he's involved too. They were both operating as foreign agents. Paul Manafort, who worked for Donald Trump, they sent him to jail for being an unregistered foreign agent. But Hunter Biden and Jim Biden are doing the exact same thing.
And he never registered under the FARA laws, that the ones that got Paul Manafort convicted.
That is correct. He's never registered for that. Never. Not once.
When do you think we'll know and get to the bottom of this? And then I got to roll.
Well, what we're going to do right now, we're tracking down the money lines. We want to make sure we have this stuff ironclad. And like I've said now for a couple of days, I think you have, in my view, a two-tier track for impeachment. I think you have impeachment with Joe Biden because this is obviously public corruption and using his office to wield authority and getting paid as a result by him getting paid and through his family. And now I also believe it's with Merrick Garland because it is without question now, comparing what's happening with the IRS whistleblowers, that the Department of Justice was basically shutting down the investigations into Hunter Biden. If you felt Richard Nixon should have been impeached for squelching an investigation, please tell me how Joe Biden and Merrick Garland aren't impeached for doing the exact same thing.
All right, Byron Donalds from Florida, we always appreciate you being with us. Great job as usual. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.